Yes. There are very few freshwater ecologists at this meeting, so I'll not be giving you a lot of details on the results. I'll more talk about what approaches we have been using. One of the approaches we are taking is space for time, as we also heard about before. We are looking at lakes in very different parts of Greenland, and we are also looking at, they're not shown here, but in Iceland and in Faroe Island. We have been working in more than 300 lakes. We're looking at everything from fish to bacteria in these systems and food webs. From these data we have information about how the system functions. You can see here, for instance, from Greenland, the growth of Arctic char. It's very slow. They grow very fast in Iceland, and this is too much for them in Iceland because they are disappearing, as you can see here in many of the lakes, in the shallow lakes in Iceland. So growing fast and die young is not good. We also see that the big effect of the fish on the rest of the ecosystem. Here you see the zooplankton size in with and without fish in East Greenland and West Greenland, very big difference. You can see the benthic fauna is extremely different whether you have fish or no fish in the system, but it's very difficult to be a big animal in systems with a lot of fish. This has implication. We have bottom-up effect. When we have higher precipitation in the system, we get more nutrients into them, and we get more algae in the water. You can see it's the same you saw in the sea, that higher productivity and ice-free periods is longer. But it's very, you can see a lot of scatter on these data. And one of the scatter reasons is that we have with and without fish in the system. You can, for instance, see here when the temperature goes up, you get more and more algae for each phosphorus you put into the system. But if you have fish without fish in the system, then it's very different. The cascading effect in these Arctic systems is very much depending on the trophic structure. We are also taking a little bit, going a little bit outside the Greenlandic area and looking at the rest of the world, and it gives us a lot of information about how the system functions in different parts of the world. Example you can see here with the latitude changes here, there's a very big difference in the number of herbivorous species in the systems. We are also looking at this horizontal gradient, as we heard before, where we have more or less the same latitude, but very different conditions from the coast and out to the ice here. And you can see the climate or the vegetation is very different in these areas. So it's also a way to try to disentangle the effect of it. We are looking at the sediment cores in the system also, and here you can see some catastrophic events in some of these systems, and this is the entire Holocene you have here, so this 10,000 years you have in this core, and you can also see some major changes. And looking at remains in these systems of biological components, we can see how the system functions and how they react to changes in the climate. Here you see and also how we use these data. This is the surface sediment from West Greenland with and without fish systems, and you can see some remains of different components. These are the big ones, and you can see within the fish present, they are gone completely, and these are the small ones and they appear instead. This we can use this information because then we can back in time and look at the core system here. Here's an example from Northeast Greenland. You have a period here with a lot of Daphnia in the beginning after Holocene. You have a lot of chironomids in the system, but suddenly they disappear. And this is the period here where you have the mid-Holocene warming period. Fish enter the system, and then you change the ecosystem completely. Here's another example from sediment core. We have H2K cooling period. And here you have pelagic species, and then you have the benthic species, and you can see a very, very big change. Here you have a pelagic as a system with a lot of algae in the water. Here you have a period where it's colder, where you have less of those. We are looking at time series also. We are looking in both in Sakkenberg and also down in the Nuuk area. And here you can see, for instance, the data also that chlorophyll, the algae in the water, they are increasing now because of the higher temperature we have in the system. And this is one of the consequences we also saw from the space for time. Here in Koperfjorden, you see an example how the plants are changing in the behavior. They move further out in the system when it gets warmer in these systems here also. A little bit what you've seen in the sea also from some of the other projects, that they move further out in the system and the production goes up in the systems. We are looking also in this new land area. It's from lakes you have here that are 1 minute old and up to here 150 years old and even longer. And this is the period where you have lost the ice. And there we can see you have this period, you have this one here close to the ice, and here you have them far away where it's 150 years old or something like that. We get cores and we look at everything in this system, but here are the cores from this system where you can see dramatical shift from organic layer, then clay layer, when they have been in contact with the ice, or at least the glacial water, and then they go back again. And then we can try to look at how the system reacted to cooling events and warming events over time. And this, of course, gets us a lot of action, and we get very tired and become like the locals. It's more or less the same, as you can see here. There might be a difference in the hat and the movement of the arms, but else it's more or less the same. But now we are working a lot on all the data, and we also think about what to do next. And in this next year, here in 2013, we will try again to go back to these near ice areas and work, but here in the Nuuk area instead of up in Kangaloo, in the Little Sat area. And then we'll try again to look at how the system changes from time to time. Over time from the last 150 years since the glaciers starting to retreat again after the little ice age. And this will give us a lot of opportunities, and we are making this report for this evaluation that are coming now. And in the future, I think these guys have to move into the lakes near the glacier because there are no sea ice anymore for them. Thank you.